You know, ladies, a woman's behavior and their impact on our community can really damage or positively impact our image. It's a tough conversation, but one we really need to have. So, tonight's show is Woman, Are We Out of Order? I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to Conversation with A&A. I'm your co-host Angela, and I have your wonderful, beautiful host Avon. Hi, Avon. How are you tonight?
Hi, Angela. I am well. How are you? How are you, girl?
You know what? I'm doing fine. Today was the Harlem African Day Parade. I didn't attend this year, but yeah, the kids went, and they said it was nice. So yeah, I'm doing good. Well rested. I got some rest, last night, so I'm well rested, and I'm good.
Excellent. Excellent. That's right. Look, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. We had a little break. So, in order for us to regroup and, reset ourselves and get it together. So, we have a lot of good things in store for you all in the future and on our future broadcasts and what have you. So, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. And as you know, there's a lot going on in the world today. All you have to do is just listen and look and have conversations with people in the street, and you can see that there is a lot going on out there. And, you know, and I can feel it. I don't know, Angela, you remember um, just before the pandemic started, you remember like about a year or so before, you remember the conversations that we used to have
We had so many
about
of them. You gotta,
I
you
have to
had
be
so many of
specific.
them.
Exactly. What I'm referring to specifically was when we were talking about that this is not the time to
Be messing
mess
around.
around. And at the time when I was saying it, I was using more colorful language when I was saying it, but that was the gist of what was going on. It's just that energy. I just felt it. It was a serious time. It was a critical time, and this is even before we heard about the pandemic. It was just the energy that something was coming. I felt something was coming, and as we see, one of the things was this pandemic and the shutdown and the taking over of our lives where we did not have control, where we had to sit ourselves down and regroup and get an understanding of what's going on and to realize that we were in critical times and that we were going to have to save ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We could not leave in the hands of others our destiny and, all the important things that were going on with us. So uh, that has been showing itself time and time again. And we're going to talk about that tonight and in the future. There's so many topics and things where we can start. There's so many things, but as I always say, it will always end up falling back and going back to one thing. So we're here tonight, and again, as Angela said, our tonight's topic is women, are we out of order? So we're going to begin. Are you ready, Miss Jenkins?
All the time. I'm always ready. I've been born ready.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So we're here we go. Women, are we out of order? And the title, it can be deceiving. It is a question. It is a valid question and we want to ask, but listen, we want to make sure that we're not here to attack. We're not here blaming anybody, pointing fingers, or try to shame anyone. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're asking a question: are we out of order? The thing is, we want everyone to just stop and take a minute and just with a open mind and ask yourself this question: are we out of order? And what does that mean to me also? How are we living and how are we showing up? These are questions that you can ask yourselves. So where we would start would be to answer these questions and to see where we are, where we stand. It's like, who would you say that you are? Who do you say that you are? This is a question that you have to answer for yourself. No one else can answer it for you. And, I think that is what a part of the problem where we found ourselves. A lot of times, when we don't know the answer, what we do is fall back and let somebody else decide for us because we don't want to take that chance or make the wrong decision, whatever. So we give that up and put that in someone else's hand. And then when we do that, then sometimes when it does not work out in our favor or the way that we think that it should work out, then we're ready to blame someone else or we're upset with someone else when the truth of the matter is that, you are in control of your life and it will be in your best interest to take control of your life. Angela, what do you think about that? Or what are your thoughts on this on this
Well,
question?
of course, you always in control of your own life, you know. You should never let no one else dictate that for you. You have control, more control than you think you have. A lot of times we get caught up as and try to play victims, but we actually not. So yeah, we do have control of our life and we have power. As women, we have power. Now, whether you choose to use the way it depends on how you choose to use it. That's a whole different conversation. But you do have the power, and you have to believe you have that. You know, women are powerful, but we can use our power for destruction, or we could use our power to, advance ourselves in our community.
This is true. This is true. Well, can I ask you, who do you say that you are?
Well, I'm a woman that's on a journey. Um, I consider myself a spiritual being going through a human experience, and I'm a lot of everything. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a mentor. So I have many different roles. It's not just one role, you know. I play a lot of different roles in many different people's lives. So I'm all of that in some.
Excuse me, all that and the bag of chips.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know about the chips because the chips it seem fattening, so I want to leave that alone.
I hear you. I hear you. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I pretty much echo what you say. I have many roles. I have many jobs to do here. I'm not just one person or one thing. There are many aspects to me. And I enjoy exploring every single one of them. So I'm many things, and I don't want to limit myself to one thing. And that's what I have found that I have done over years. When you okay, well, people need to know who you are and how you want to show up. So they need to have an idea of how to um, describe you or make it so that it's comfortable so that they can relate and figure out and place you in this box. And I found myself, kind of chafing under that a little bit. It's just like I'm many things. Yeah, yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I am. I'm a grandmother. I'm a sister. I was a wife, uh, friend, cousin. I was many things. I worked out in the field. I did counsel people on, maybe not in a official capacity, but I have so titles and things. So I'm creative. Definitely, I feel that I'm a creative. So I'm many things. So I don't, and I am female as far as identifying. For people to know, I am a female. I what do I want to say? The words. I am a female, but I understand that I have both energies, the feminine energy and the masculine energy, and I identify, or I'm presenting more as the female energy now, but I have that balance that we all have, that female and feminine and masculine energy. And then when it's out of balance, you know. And what I realize that when I come to this earth and why I'm here is to find the balance and to balance that out. Everything in life is about the balance. So as I learned that who I am, how to identify when things are off, what's the difference between good and bad, it is relative. It's how you perceive things to be. So there's a whole lot of things, and then you have to be able to call that for yourself. You understand? You cannot leave that up to someone else to tell you. You have ideas that can help you maybe articulate or come together in something, or you can help them to understand more, but you have to work on that yourself. And that is a lifelong journey. It does not ever end. You're always evolving. So you're learning things. So guess what you know now today and what you understand today, it can evolve even more the next day, next year. So you want to always be open to learning and to evolve. You don't want to become stagnant and then stay and then close yourself down, so you don't, you're not connected to the universe and how things actually flow. So I don't know if I made sense. I went off into a rambling. I went into my own head with that because I said, let me think about this. Because a lot of times we find ourselves, we don't really think about it. We find ourselves in a state of doing, always doing something, instead of being.
Reflecting. Right. We need to start reflecting on what instead of just doing. But yeah, let's get to the nitty gritty. It's going to be a very uncomfortable conversation to talk about, but this is what we need to talk about: the shadiness, the ratchetness that's going on, and not to disrespect nobody, but I believe that women hold the keys to a lot of things, and you can tell by the conversations that's out here, and what with we being blamed on the community, and how basically you have some men that say it's women's fault, but instead of getting mad at that, look at that. Is it really you have more power than what you think you have, and how you want to show up? So our image is very important, because especially when we raising our families, we are the gatekeepers of the family, right? The children have to go through us, right? We raising the children first, we're nurturing them first, and basically we do most of the nurturing. So if that's with that said, it's very vital how we show up in our community. You understand? And if we have the influence, if we know the influence we have, then maybe we will show up more so. You understand? And freedom, freedom is not just being able to, slut walk, or just do anything that you want. Too much is given, much is required. So we have to start identifying how our image, especially Black women, how we want to show up. We want to show up in public, and how we want to be perceived. And not to say that we people pleasing. It's just that for our own edification, right? How do we want to be, perceived as, and who we think we are? A lot of times, people will label you based on what you're doing and what you're not doing, but it's basically what is it? Sometimes I see how people show up, right? Women show up, and they might show up, in a certain way, and then if they get fat shamed, or if they get disrespected, or people question their their mentality, or people question their ideology, they get agitated. How could you get agitated if you're putting yourself out there like that? So um we need to think about these things. How are we showing up? If you don't want someone to perceive you as a slut, don't show up as a slut. I mean, you
No, I'm here
understand?
listening. Right.
So don't show up like that. If you want people to respect you, then you show up like that. And it's not about a man. It's not about, oh, I'm going to be a certain way just to get a man. It's about you as a person, you developing yourself, you cultivating yourself. So it's these things, it's tough. It's tough because it's not like we bashing women. I love the female community. I'm glad to be a female. And but it's a lot of responsibility. It's not just that, uh we do have a lot of power, and we just have to learn how to use that power.
Exactly. Well, like I said, you have to learn it, have to know what it is, and so that's going to take some work and research and what have you, and then we're going to share what it is that we know. So it's going to be that's what we talk about, the self work. Um, the first, like we said, first thing that you ask yourself, who do you say you are? You that's the question that you just going to have to take the time to sit down and to do that. What are the things that I like? What makes me tick? What makes me run? What do I love? What don't I like? What, how do I want to show up? Or it's like, and then the next thing is what is your vision? So what would your vision be? You had mentioned this before. So what does that look like? You know, these are questions that you have to do. Other people can't tell you what that is, and then the thing is, you don't want someone else to be able to do that for you. We claim that we want to be self-sufficient. We want to be in charge. You hear a lot of people, I'm a boss this, I'm a boss that, I'm in charge and I run this and I'm the H, the head so and so and so and such. And the thing is, yeah, you say this, but how do you do that? How do you present that so that message is relayed to the other person, to the people that you want to affect or that you're engaging with? How is that going to look? You have to be able to see that. And the thing is, and when you cannot see that for yourself, it's hard to be that. You can't be what you don't see and believe. So these are things that you want to go on. These are some things that you had discussed. Do you have um, any other points specifically that you want to add to that, or what we just discussed thus far, or are we
Yeah.
ready to want to
Well, you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned basically how to ask yourself these questions. But if you're not in that type of environment, you don't know what to ask yourself. You don't know. Sometimes we become a victim of the environment, or a product of the environment that we are in. So let's break it down, what we specifically talking about. How are you showing up in your community? For me, I'm thinking you're talking about how women are just being ratchet out here. And as a woman, I'm speaking out on that. How you presenting yourself in public, and you know yelling and screaming and acting, really crazy out in public, and not being held accountable for that, or not holding yourself accountable for that. Um, the other day, I seen a woman, and I'm sure we all had experiences when our parents had to tell us not what to wear, what not to wear, but she had on shorts showing her cheeks, walking down a a dark, not a dark, but like a secluded street. I was nervous for her, you know. And then we may say, well, we could do what we want to do. No man's supposed to do anything to us, and we could show up like that. it's our bodies, it's the way we want to do it. I get it. You understand that women been oppressed for so many years and we want a sense of freedom. But like I said, that comes with responsibility. But also we have to recognize the nature of men. That's just one thing, the nature of the opposite sex as women, and in terms of protection. So there's a couple of dynamics here that's going on. We can't just, I don't know what changed it. Some people say feminism changed it, and I get it. When it comes to, if I'm doing the same job, I want pay. If I'm, I want to be treated like a human being as a person. So I get all of that. But sometimes the oppressed can be oppressed so long that when they do get a little bit of freedom, they can just go haywire with it. And I think that's where we at as women, that we've been oppressed so long that it's really showing up in a negative way. And that's why, a lot of people is saying that feminism hurt women more so than it helped. So our mentality plays a role. How we want to show up. Our mentality plays a role.
It's true. Now, I would agree that we have been oppressed, there we've had a history of it. But then how is it that some people manage to turn out all right, or be, you know, they manage to do pretty well? Okay, so we have been oppressed. Okay, now is that always the case? Or
No,
are we allow ourselves, or are we giving up our rights and rights, and what is the word I want to look for? Or we hand over our life for someone else to run. You know what? Or do we maintain control of it? Because we want to be careful with that. Okay, yes, there has been a history of that, but is it always the case that we have had some folks that have grown up and then they still have that pride, and it was instilled in them through their parents? They got to see their parents being strong people, and that they know their worth, and they know not to bow to anyone else, and they take charge of their lives and they go forward with it. So then we have that. Okay, that would explain in some cases what's going on. But I think where we find the problem and we get into trouble is, yeah, it has happened. But then the thing is, we cannot use or want to stick with that the only excuse. So the thing is to turn the tide, or let's say this way. All right, that's what happened. So what should we be doing now to change that? We're not
we
going to
should be
discount.
having we should be cooking, cleaning, and having babies. According
You
to
say
some,
no, explain it.
according,
You're putting that out there. Explain it. What do you mean by that?
well,
We
I'm
should
just
be doing
joking.
this. Why?
I don't feel that that's for everyone's destiny, but that's what most men, most men would say, that we out of order. Let's talk about that. We have Abdul here, and we're gonna bring in Abdul, um, just to join in on this conversation. I'm gonna add him to this the topic. Hey, Abdul.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
We can hear
Yes,
you so
Ken.
clearly. Boy, you getting it together, Abdul. We
Yeah.
impressed. I'm
Well,
impressed with your audio. What, you got some new equipment over there?
yeah, I bought a microphone.
Wow. Yo, I gotta get myself together. Wow, Abdul. I'm impressed. I am impressed. So, Abdul, listen, tonight, because I know you jumped on kind of late, and we just getting warmed up. So tonight's topic is, women, are we out of control? And we was inspired about this topic because there's several things going on, with the gender wars, this he say, she say, but also as a woman, I'm seeing the morals, principles, and values erode in the female community, and it concerns me. So what is your view on that? Like, what are you seeing, and how do you,
Well, I first of all, I don't think women should never take second place to a man ever, or men in general. You shouldn't. I mean, you should always be their equal because you can't live your life being subjected under somebody else's rule. You know what I mean? You're not going to be happy. And if you're with a man that's like that want to rule over you or dictate to you, you shouldn't be with him. You know, when a person starts that, that's the person you should get away from. It should always be an even Steven relationship.
okay, okay. Abdul, you talking that, Abdul.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well,
you
see,
know
see,
that a lot of people talk like that.
men hate that kind of stuff. They don't see men want to be rulers, you know. They want to be because most likely it's because of their job or their function in life. They don't have no authority over somebody or
I
anybody.
always said that too. Yeah, that's true.
And so they want to do it at home, you know.
Right. I always said that. I always felt that too. Like, besides them just want to be just, a man, they just want to be just, they don't have that control. I used to say that a lot. I felt that
Right.
like no one, I didn't research this. I don't have no statistics about this, but I always felt like men that really power themselves and bully, and they be the bully in their relationships. I feel like they, especially if like they have a low income job or
Right.
they
Right.
really don't have no I always felt that like they need to, you know
Show
push
some
their power,
authority.
right,
Yeah.
and with their, with their woman and their children, because they don't have that no place else. So yeah. But do you think women are out of control
No,
nowadays?
no, no,
Okay.
no, no, no.
Okay.
You know, let me tell you something. I don't think women have the place in life that they should have. They have always been second class to a man, and I always felt that was their fault because they allowed it. You know what I mean? Me personally, I want a woman to be able to stand up with me all the time because if I fall, I want her to be able to help me back up.
Okay. Right. And when I say women are out of control order, like women, are we out of order? It's not, for me, it's not saying that just being subservient to a man. I'm talking about, because women have other relationships in their life. So I'm
Mhm.
not just talking about the man, because every time we talk about a woman, it's like a man. No, I'm talking about just showing up for your community. How are we showing up for ourselves? Are we taking care of ourselves? Are we are we healing ourselves? Are we, doing the things necessary for ourselves and our children and our community, not just our men? Because some women, they will show up for their man. It's just that they'll fall for everything else, in terms of they'll be out of order for themselves. So out of order, it's huge for me. It's different components of that. You could be out of order, not taking care of yourself, not loving yourself, not caring for yourself. So I look at it different ways besides just in your relationship, because a lot of times we look at, if woman out of order, or she scream at her man, does she talk to her man any type of way, or is she submissive? I'm speaking about other areas in a woman's life that they need to show up for, because I do believe women have an enormous amount of power, and we need to learn how to use our power and how to influence others, how to influence others as women, because we do have that power. A lot of us just don't know how to use it.
I want to say, Doll said something as well in what you said earlier. And I had a conversation with a male friend last week. And he said the very thing that you said, Angela, you said it with uh, jokingly, but he said it as well. He mentioned that God first, man, then woman, and that situation and the roles and so on and so forth. Then Abdal said what he said about wanting equal partner and be able to handle any situation and be able to work with him as a helpmate, and be able to help him navigate this thing that we call life. I want to say, and what I always say, I'm always careful to mention that the question is, women, are we out of order? And then what Abdul described also is what he was saying, that imbalance, and that men can be out of order as well. So this is not a one-sided thing. And we know that there's an imbalance and that there's something that's out of order and out of whack by what is presented to us in the world today. Not everybody is out of order, and then everybody can be out of order at some point in time, that there's some imbalance. So no one is perfect. So we're going to start to say that first and foremost. But the thing is, if we realize that we're working together, and then when something seems top heavy, or there's something that's more than the other, and it's, there's an uncomfortability that's going there. There's when you notice more animosity, there's too much of one thing than the other, then that's an indication that there is an imbalance there. So the thing is, if you have, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. You're going to hear me say this time and time again. If you're looking for the balances, how are you showing up and what you want to do? We are here to work together. And it's not, we're
not talking about, see, this is what I have a problem with.
I'm getting ready to say, well, let me finish the thought.
Right.
I'm not talking about romantic relationships all the time. There's just on the natural day-to-day balance of what's going on, looking out for each other, what have you, men mentoring other young men, women mentoring other young women, when we see family members, whatever, when we are out of order, that we have to talk and get this dialogue going here. This is what we're talking about when you're out of order, that's what the self-work is. Yes, when you learn how about yourself, also through how your relationships with other people. But guess what? If you don't have a proper relationship with yourself, then you don't know what to look for, or you will have a skewed understanding of what to expect for someone else to give. You cannot, you're expecting something that you are not even able to do for yourself. But this is why you would want to do that work for yourself, but also by us getting together with other people where we're falling short, they can help you and we can learn. So that's why we're not out here in the island by ourselves, and we're not going to learn through each other. But your goal also, as you're doing this, that you're going to have to figure out how to get that proper relationship with yourself. And then when you know that, so you know how you want to operate yourself, how you want to show up in the world, how you will connect with someone else in this life. Proper communication, effective communication. Pulling someone else up when they are weak, and then you are stronger in a certain area, you can help someone else with that. It's like using the analogy of the bank. If you're not making deposits in your bank or whatever, and you just keep pulling withdrawals, you're going to become bankrupt. And then when you are bankrupt, you have nothing to give properly that's of help, that could be of help to someone else. It may be for a while what you got, you keep giving it all away and you're not replenishing it for yourself, there's going to be an issue at some point. So this is what we're talking about when we want to bring it back to getting ourselves in order, learning to be self first, not selfish, but self first, meaning that you have to put your needs and make sure that you're in order so that you have something to give for yourself and that you can share and help give to someone else. But we always do it so that we're at a deficit. And that's how we can show. That's what being out of order looks like as well. So that's right. Just the thought that I have. So what do you all say for that?
Well, I agree. Well, when I say, and another thing, when I say, are we out of order? Meaning that, like, one of the things that you mentioned was that we're not really A lot of women are guilt into taking care of everyone else instead of their own self. Like, you should put everything aside for your family, for your children, for like everything. You understand? And that's not healthy. That is not healthy, because then you become a person, like, you become a person, you don't even become your own person. You like doing everything for everyone else, and then when everyone else move on, who are you? Like that question, who are you? You wouldn't even know. And that's a depressing state to be in. Okay. When you find something as a woman that you love to do and it keeps you motivated and it's outside your family, and it's just you're doing it because you need that satisfaction for yourself, not to, be mean to no one else or to forget about others. And someone shows up, or the society tells you that you're wrong for doing that, that makes you happy, that motivates you to even get up in the morning, and someone is telling you that you're wrong for doing that, and you begin to do something else, that's out of order. And not that you mean to be out of order, but it's being out of order to your own self, your own, your own self. And that's not fair. That's not fair.
No, it's not. And see, and that's what it is. We can sit here and we give ideas, and that's why you have to have a conversation with other people. So, because if you talk to everybody out here, more than likely, for each person that you talk to, they will give you a different example of being out of order and how it shows up with them. And that's why it's something that we need to continue to talk about often and always, because you want to hit as many different ways, even though you can say a blanket statement, but people internalize these things and it shows up differently for them. So, by saying this, and then they say, oh, okay, I see how that can be. I never thought of it that way. And that's what we got a lot that's going on as well. People don't think of things a certain way. They're used to seeing things or hearing things a certain way. So that's where we get locked in a box, and then we don't see and we miss a lot of things. So what we want to do is expand and just talk about different things. Just because we say, okay, we may understand this and say, oh, well, just do this. That might not be an easy thing for other people to understand. So this is why we want to break it down and show the different ways that it can show up. So that is a good way that we can help others. That's why we want people, follow us on Instagram, on what is the Twitter, which Elon has changed it what's the new name for it? X. That's going to be the new name for Twitter, X. Follow us on X, and leave suggestions, comments, your thoughts on what it is, and then we can share it when we come back online, or you will drop links and that our audience can join in and share their thoughts on what's going on. So we have more different perspectives going on here, and that we can help more people. But if you don't speak or let us know what's going on, you're going to miss out. And there is no bad or stupid or dumb question. The only question that's a bad question is one that's unasked. So the thing is, share your voice and your thoughts can help someone else out here. So I just wanted to put that out there, and that's conversation with A&A on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook. So I spoke a bit. So Angela, anything else that you want to say?
Well, I just want to ask you a question.
Sure.
How could women set their personal visions and goals for themselves and their community in your like what would be some of the ways that they can set their personal goals and objectives for themselves?
Okay, first of all, you start at home. Sometimes just the whole neighborhood and the community, that's a broad thing. When I'm speaking for some of our audience out there, but I can't even figure it out for myself. So the thing is, how you help community is figure out who you are and how you want to show up for yourself. And that's what we call also minding your business, minding your own business. when you take care of that and you make that a priority. Because if you do not feed and nourish yourself, your mind, your spirit, your soul, you know, you're going to be out there. The thing is, you're not going to show up. How are you showing up? You're out there, you're not even taking the time to show up for yourself. You don't recognize that it is imperative that you take this time to figure out who you are. Look at things, what pleases you, what inspires you and turns you on. Take notes, write it out, take out pictures. You know, that's what these vision boards are for. Make your own version of it, whatever. Take everything that inspires you, that makes you feel good, something that you want to do, something you want to aspire to, and start building that up, and then have that in front of you. And then make sure you take the time every day to look at that and to listen to things that inspire you, that will do the same thing, that will trigger certain pictures and visions in your head, and that you want to do. And that needs to be in front of you constantly on a regular basis. And then that goes down into your subconscious when you keep seeing that, and that changes images and visions and thoughts that you had previously. So you have to change the record that you had initially recorded inside and put something new there. But you got to have to be consistent and disciplined with it and do it time and time again. And remember that you're doing it for yourself. There's no race. There's nothing that you have to prove to anyone else. This is what you have to do for you. And then once you start doing that and you feel comfortable with that, you're going to notice changes going on within you. And then when you have accomplishment and you achieve things, you start to feel better about yourself. And then you like the results that you have, so you want more. And that's a natural thing. Oh, I like this, so I want more of this. And then you start to see, okay, you know, I feel better when I think this way. I feel better when I move this way. You know, I feel better when I talk this way and how I interact with people this way. And I want to continue with it more. And then by doing it often and on a regular, you become stable and strong in that. And then you are able to project it in more, and then it radiates through you, because it is something, that connection that you have with yourself and your creator, that, you know, I am who I am, and this is how I want to be, and this is how I want to show up. I'm not too much interested in what someone else thinks how I should be. This is how I want to be. I want to show up, and I feel good with this. I feel strong with this. And then you go from there. And then when you have that to show up, people appreciate that and they recognize that. And that inspires other people. That's how you do it. Don't worry about getting out here and getting on a soapbox and preaching to people or whatever. Be it. And people see it and they will gravitate towards that. They'll take what they need. They'll ask you questions, what have you. They feel the energy.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Do you think culture, race, and culture affects how women are showing up in a community?
Yes, it does. It does to a certain aspect, because you have the culture there, but it's built on the basis of people's beliefs and how they move and what they project out there into the universe. Is what you've been doing, habits and custom, that's what helps become the culture. And in certain regions, this is what the people do here or whatever. So it's teaching and passing on, but then this is also the bigger picture. And if you understand that, this is a spiritual incident that is going on here. And because when you're spiritual, certain things will happen, and you tap and you vibrate to it and you recognize it, it starts to resonate, and then you have a connection. You know what to do. We are Netaru. We are nature. We know nature. And when you want to know something, how the world works, how the universe works, you look to nature. It is laid out for you and it explains what's going on. You need some answers, look to nature, watch the habits of, let's say, lions and what they do and how they think and how they move together, how they move individually, what happens when there is disorder there, when someone is trying to interrupt the order that's going on within a group, it gets taken care of. There is a protocol that goes on. So you watch, look at nature to see what's going on. And you'll get a lot of answers there. So I don't know, did I answer your question? Tell me, what
That's
else
cool.
I
You
can.
have any comments what everyone was saying?
Yeah, I got quite a few. One thing, I don't think women are out of order at all, but I think they make a big mistake when it comes to the household. And I'll tell you what that is. They will do for their children first before they do for themselves. You have to be, in order to be self-sufficient, you have to do for self first in order to do for anybody else. If you don't take care of self, you're going to be weakened to take care of somebody else. And women have a known track for doing the most they can for their kids and not for themselves. They neglect themselves to do for their kids. That's the biggest fault I find with women all the time. They don't do self first. A man will always do self first. He ain't
Yeah.
gonna put the child before him. No kind of way, Jack.
Or the woman, nobody.
Right. He
Right.
always gonna come first.
And
So
that's what go ahead.
no, she needs to think in that type of pattern that, hey, I'm first here. I'm mom. I'm everybody and I'm everything. So that's the mindset you got to have. And that's the actions that you got to take. Don't let your kids get the best of you because the kids are smart. They play emotional games with their
Yes.
parents,
Yes.
because I played my parents all the time. They couldn't
Right.
stand me,
Dad.
They really
No.
couldn't stand me. My mom and dad told me, they said,
Right.
it's one person we really don't like here. I said, who's that? Take a good guess. I said, Brenda, Evelyn, Maxine? Nah, you missed somebody. I knew it was me.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know something? It's interesting that you say that because I guess women feel we are nurturers, but we don't understand that there's, like you did say, to take care of ourselves. It's like the concept of when you get on an airplane, they tell you to put your mask on first so you can save your child, not the opposite. I remember when I used to breastfeed my first son, and my ex-mother-in-law, she used to tell me, oh, what when I used to breastfeed, I would eat first before I breastfeed, right?
Makes
And
sense.
that was like natural. Like I can't feed this kid, breastfeed this kid if I'm not properly nourished.
Right.
So she used to say, "Oh, how you gonna feed yourself before your kid?" And I'm like,
What?
because if I'm breastfeeding, if I don't eat, how he's gonna get the nutrients from my body?
Right.
Well, it was like a common sense thing to me. And then when I went to the doctor, I asked the doctor, like, am I breastfeeding right? And it was like, of course, we encourage you to eat 3-4 times a day so you could be well, nourished to feed your baby. So that's what you basically saying. Like you have to take care of yourself. And I learned that the hard way. Thank God my kids is, nourishing, they growing up properly, and they, I'm showing up for them. But this was a long time, that I've been through stuff that I couldn't show up for my kids. And then they was all over the place. I mean, not too bad, but when a woman can't show up because she's taking care of everyone else, and she's feeling she's feeling like she has to show up for everyone else and put herself on hold, or put herself, neglects herself. I'm talking about for basic things. We're not talking about staying in a spa all day and going shopping, Beverly Hills. And I'm just talking about basic things like self-care, feeling good about yourself so you can feel good about those. It's an encouragement to do other things. And when you don't do that for the sake of your kids, one thing I learned, that you will hear this a lot from children as they get older. Well, Mom, you didn't do this and you didn't do that and you was like this and you was like that. You thinking that you showing up your best. But sometimes you don't. You might show up angry or mad. You're doing the job, but being that you neglecting yourself, you're not really showing up as your best self because you giving all of that to someone else and you're not properly taking care of yourself. So you might think that you being a martyr or a superhero at that point, and I think it's more damaging than anything else. And that's the conversation that we don't have as, as women, as families. You're told as a woman to take care of your family. Your family is first. Put your family first. And anything else other than that is selfish. Women are taught that if you put yourself first, you selfish. And I'm not talking about putting yourself first, like being, selfish with it. I'm talking about basic stuff. We're just talking about basic stuff. Keep your head together. Don't run outside with rollers because you're rushing because your children need stuff and and you can't, and you're too proud to ask for help or ask for the support of the family and ask for support of the community. I'm talking about basic things, so you definitely, that was a good observation, Abdul, that you mentioned. Very good observation.
And one thing I want to say, if a child tells you, "Oh, mom, something you didn't do when I was growing up," all you got to do is tell them what really happened. You raised them. They didn't raise themselves. You had more to do in life than just raising them. You had to do for yourself too. And that should shut them up.
Well, we got a couple of things that's going on there. Something that Angela has said, I'm going to answer you, Abdul.
Right.
What Angela said was, well, that would make common sense. And I hope that's what we've come to learn, that common sense ain't common, because the stuff that you hear, I'm choosing my words carefully. The stuff that you hear out here is like, what is this person thinking, or how could they? So the common sense is not common. And once you get that out of your head, then that will help you to understand and relax and get a clearer understanding and indication of what's happening out here, so that you don't think that you're crazy or what have you. And then the thing is, what that also shows is that, okay, we're not on the same page, or we're not coming from a similar understanding. So let's get that together first, and then we can move forward. So first you got to be on the same page and be speaking the same language, so that everybody has an understanding of what's going on here. But if you're talking a different language and this one is talking a different language, it's not going to compute. It's not going to.
What do you mean by that? If somebody's talking a different language?
Like you're saying, it's common sense. Oh, well, and this is a big thing that I hear a lot out here. Well, everyone knows, but of course, no, everyone does not know. Everybody has different experiences. Not everybody has been taught the same things. And this is what we're talking about. You said, what is the word that's used? Culture, and
identity. All that plays a role. A culture, your identity, your environment, all that plays a role.
It does. So everybody is in a different environment. We may be in a similar environment, but everybody has different experiences. You got some children that are left to raise themselves. They are latchkey kids. Parents are out there working, or you got parents that are drugged out or whatever and have no idea what's going on with the kids. There are so many different circumstances of things that's going on that you think that everybody's on the same page and everybody has the same education and everybody knows the same thing, but that is not so. And then that is one thing with educators, they use prior knowledge. Okay, let's see what you do know, where you're at, what you're thinking, what's going on, what's your understanding of things, and then you can build from there. But when you go on an assumption, you don't know. And then you have some people that are so proud, they won't say anything. They'll just act like, oh, it's all good. And then they're out there wondering and trying to figure out what's going on. And that's what I said. The only bad question is the question that's unasked. If you don't know, then ask. You know, because we got the idea of here, we get this inferiority complex that, oh, I'm not smart. This person knows more than me, and they're smarter than me, and I can't compare, whatever. So you shy away and you hide out and don't say anything, trying to make yourself small so you don't stand out because you're figuring this other person. You'd be surprised they don't know as much as you. Or they may know less, but they know how to play it off better. You know what I'm saying? Or what they do know, they may know this thing, but there are things that they don't know. There's no one that knows everything.
Right.
So we got to get all over that and even the playing field. Yes, what were you going to say?
I just want to acknowledge that everyone has a strength and areas for growth. You understand? And like I said, people, especially nowadays, a lot of people are facing challenges. A lot of women are facing challenges. And so I do believe that it do comes from a lot of different factors, right? But you can get through that, but you got to put the work in. So women who seems like they're not living up to their potential, or they feel out of order, and feeling out of order is not just on a moral level. It could be physical, it could be mentally out of order, emotionally out of order. One of the things that there's a couple of things, solutions or ideas to help conquer that. One of them, I think, is identifying destructive behaviors. Even if you are in a certain cultural environment, I think most of us know when we are doing things destructively, whether it hurts us or not. Do y'all agree with that? Like, instantly, or you may know intuitively that you're doing something that's totally destructive for you because you feel it. You're not feeling good about that.
Definitely. Yes.
So identifying your destructive behaviors, how are you showing up for your children, yourself, like Abdul said, your children, your family, and your community as a whole, right? And once you start identifying that, then you can move more inward to self-reflection and awareness. Okay. I like to encourage women to have a lot of self-reflection to help them identify their destructive patterns and their behaviors. And your destructive patterns could be simply as time, lack of time management, because you put everybody first. So you run out of time to do the things you need to do for yourself, to just basic maintenance. Okay. And so it's identifying your destructive behaviors, self-reflection and awareness, and then also having empathy and compassion for yourself. Because a lot of times, especially women, we put so much on us. We try to take on the world. And that's why we're looked at as being, especially Black women, as being masculine, as being, you want to be the man. And it's not that. It's just that we have a innate um being in us that we want to save and we want to nurture and we want to help out. So it's not like we're trying to step on anyone's toes. It's just that we have that, okay, we want to make sure that our children is okay. We want to make sure our family is okay. So those are some of the things that we can start doing for the women who do feel out of order. They can get them, a positive role model, that's out there, that's doing it for themselves, that's influential to other women and to other, families, and how they're doing it, and building and another thing is building support networks. We need to I feel that the support with amongst women has declined. Okay. And you know, in terms of helping each other with their children and being able to knock on your neighbor's door and get, you know, stuff if you needed. I remember back in the days that we never ran out of stuff because we could just go next door to our neighbor house. Right, Abdul? Like go over
Yeah,
to
people used to borrow stuff from people.
yeah,
Yeah,
go over there and get some
I
sugar
know.
from Miss
Right,
Pearl.
right,
And then you're like, okay. And then Miss Pearl might come to your house and ask for some flour. You know,
yeah,
I
right.
feel the support, building, you know, support networks of one woman is very important. You know, because back in the day, you know, family, you know, women was the ones that you drop off your kids with, and they
Right.
help you babysit, and you didn't, you know, y'all shared each other food and ideas, and you know, you it wasn't a competition for, against more so each other. You know, women is catty
Yeah.
and whatever, but it was a more connection.
Yeah. Could I
Okay.
say something? Could I
Yes.
say something?
Uh-huh.
You know, one thing a lot of people overlook is this. Um, the reason why there's so much static in the community as itself in people's household is that so many people today are stressed out. You know,
Right.
they have multiple problems everywhere. So, you know, it's coming home too. You know, you got
Right.
problems with your kids, you got problems with your relatives, you got problems at work, you got problems everywhere. So that's why a woman should never feel like she's out of order because she's not. It's just that everything around her is out of order. That's what it
Mm,
is.
right. And what you mean by that? Like everything, when you say
Well,
everything around
you
her,
know, I mean, you know, first of all, people stress they got bills, and your bills keep getting higher and higher. They're not going down, you know. And then you get other expenses. Your kid might want this or that, you know, and you know you can't really afford it or you can't get it right now. And you got to make them understand that's just the way it is. You know, you can't buy their love. You know,
right,
they got to understand you live under restrictions and they have to too. You know, you got to make your kids understand that when you got to deal with them like that. And even in your own life, you got to realize that you can only do but so much with whatever you have, you know, to your limitations, you know, and that's the way you got to live, you know. I mean, some people, they live above and be in debt forever and using credit cards and all that crap. And then they crying all the time, you know, but they did that to themselves, you know. But,
right.
but the one thing most of all is take care of self first. Nobody comes before you ever.
Hmm.
That's
Right.
correct. Yeah,
Hmm.
that stress that we bring upon ourselves, that unnecessary stress. That's when, see these rules and laws and how it's going to go back to that. When you recognize that, first of all, you are in charge of your life. You have to stand up and you create your life and you make what happens in it. You have control over it of what you do in your life. You have to you call things in, and when you those who are into religion or spirituality, whatever. But if you recognize that I'm using the wording, but listen, if you recognize that you have dominion, I mean, that you have control over what it is that you do, over your thoughts and your hands and what you put out there, that is a powerful thing. See, when you don't even want to understand that, the thing is, oh, you feel that everything is, here we go, this out of control. This, oh, I can't do this, or I'm a victim of. That means you're showing a lack of control and lack of understanding and awareness of who you are and what you have the power to do. And that's what we got to recognize and get back in our head. And once you realize that, so then you realize, okay, the situation that I find myself in, it could be it is definitely the results of how I've been thinking and how I've been moving and how I have been enacting my thoughts. So, and where I find myself today is a result of how I was thinking in the distant past, the near past, but it was something that was thought of and called before. So this is the results of it today. So the thing is, if you understand that, then you would realize that, okay, well, if I'm not pleased with what I am experiencing right now, then I need to change how I'm thinking, what I say, and what I do. So that will change the future. But we have to remember the only place that you can make a change is in the present. So what are you thinking now? That you got to get control over and change whatever. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. What you give that attention to, that's what you're going to bring to pass. So you got to control your thoughts. You are in control of your mind and thoughts. I'm going to keep saying that. Everything happens with a thought and a word. Those who go by religions, whatever, it says in the beginning. That's in Genesis, right? There was the word. And with the word spoken, that created everything that is. That's going to be. So just with that, it just use it as a parable. However you want to, there is something to that. Think of something in your life where you might have demonstrated that. I'm sure everyone, if you take the time to think, then you can manifest that. You say, oh yeah, I remember the time when I thought about this and I was on it really strong and then it happened. Yeah. A lot of times we do things haphazardly. We don't do it intentionally. So it seems like it's accidental, but we manage to produce something. So the thing is, guess what can happen when you're intentional and you're purposeful? You can create a whole lot of good stuff for yourself. You are in control of that. No one else is in control of that. The only way they can get in control of that is if you hand over the control. And that's what we tend to do. Oh, we give up the upper hand. Oh no, I can't. I'm not strong enough. I don't know enough. I'm not smart enough. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Look, what we have now. Oh, well, our government, they're going to look out for us and they're going to take care of us or whatever. So I'm leaving it all on them. You have some control over who you put in place, whether you believe it or not. And if you don't, guess what? Whatever you say it is, that's what it is. These are some universal laws that's going on here, and spiritual laws.
But like you said, Avon, you said it when I said common sense. Some people don't have that. Some people don't know that those is universal laws. Some people don't have that basic, well, we consider basic, or we may considered just basic or common sense. That you said it, that it's not that common. It's not that universal.
I know, but guess what? I want to say before you go on, but guess how we're going to change that? We're going to have our viewers tell other viewers, and we're going to get the message out there. So when people come in and join us, they're going to hear us say the same thing over and over in different ways, but we're going to be saying the same thing so that they can get that message. We'll do our part to get the word out there. We're going to do our part. So look, y'all, join us. Remember, follow us on Conversations with A&A on IG, on X, and on Facebook. And anything else, we'll let you know.
I totally understand it. And in between that, just showing empathy and support, because a lot of people don't know. I want to ask Abdul something. Abdul, okay.
Yes.
So
go ahead.
The atmosphere nowadays is women out of order. They out of order in terms of other areas. So let's talk about that. Like when I'm saying women out of order, I mean that the order of their personal life, meaning that like they don't put themselves first. Self-care, because I'm a certified life coach, and that's one of the things that I'm big on. Women, feeling good is showing up, feeling good about themselves, because it would reflect in their family, their children, and in their community. That's no doubt, right? But we're not taught that as women, just keeping it real, right? We're taught to put everybody first. So when I say women are out of order, I'm going to say this again. I mean something like not taking care of themselves, okay? Not grooming themselves, not loving on themselves, not doing the basic self-care, okay? However, there's platforms that feels that women are out of order because The other side of it is because women are going to college now, they're getting degrees, they have access to money, resources that men don't have access to, or they don't seem that they can find access to. What do you have to say about that? Because yeah, I'm saying something that why women out of order, but the difference what's going on in the atmosphere is like women are out of order because they are getting these degrees. They don't want families. They're not putting their families first, and the community has eroded because of that. What are your comments?
Well, I don't think that women are doing anything wrong because they want this stuff. You got to remember, they want to now be equal to anybody, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think they're out of order. I think they have a fault with themselves, and that fault is not doing for self first. You know what I mean? You gotta, like I said before, you gotta do for self first before you can do for anybody. And there's no problem. There's nothing wrong with seeking higher education to get more money at work and to get a better position. And you should never look at it, well, my job is higher than his job. My paycheck is bigger than his paycheck. That shouldn't be a problem, because if you think like that, then you're obviously with the wrong person. That's what that is. If you got, all right, I'm going to just say it. If you got a minimum wage working man and you're above that, then get somebody on your own level. That's what you should do. And I'm not putting nobody down or anything. I'm just saying, but if you're up there and he's down there and he can't get up there where you're at, then you got to go with somebody else. You're going to hold yourself down, trying to make ends meet with somebody that don't meet up to your expectations. And that's what makes a difference. When you're with a man, you got to expect certain things from that man all the time. Not when you get around to it, all the time, because that's the way it should be. Women sometimes they belittle themselves by staying low because the man is low, and you should never do that. You should always think of self-character first, and this individual you got to deal with, and then your children. And the other thing is this: if you're married or you're living with the father of your children, or whatever the case may be, it should be you and him first, and then the kids after that. Never put the kids. If you got a really, it's exception. If you got a really good man in your life that's doing for you and doing for your kids, not your kids, your kids, then he comes first before the kids, and they come last. That's the way it got to go.
But why has to go that way?
Well, because let me tell you something. You got to remember this. Your kids ain't going to be there forever. Your kids going to eventually go somewhere, and that man is going to remember how you put him down over top of the kids, for the kids first. And that's, men don't forget that kind of stuff. They might not say nothing while it's going on, but they never let it go, Jack. They don't, See, when I was a kid, I'm just a brief story. My father told me that it was always him and my mother first. And the kids was way down there. You could look down the mountain and see the kids down there. That's where the kids at. And I understood that because I spent my time studying my mother and father interactions, and I could never understand how them two got along when it was two different type of people. And it always amazed me how my mother was mean, cold, cruel, vicious type person, and my father was just the opposite. It's like one hand turn the other hand and they get along together. It just blew my mind.
They said the opposite attracts. That's why.
That you got that right. 100%.
What about when you say you just made a point?
Mm-hmm.
You just said that women shouldn't put the children before they man, right? Whether it's
right.
Under
certain circumstances. Okay.
Right. Now, what about when women, just one more thing, because I want you to answer this too, in addition to what you're about to say. When women, men also say that women shouldn't put their careers neither in front of their men. That women, that's another talking
Well,
point
let me tell you
that's
something.
going around that woman should, that her career should not be above her man,
Well, let me tell you. Let me answer
if
this.
she even should have one.
Well, let me ask you this: Is your man going to um, s- is your man going to take care of your lifestyle, or your career going to do it?
Well, according to um the talking points that's on YouTube streets,
Hmm.
the woman. You know what? I'm kind of confused about these talking points. I'm really, and we're gonna have to show about this seriously coming up, because I'm confused as well. Like, I'm saying, okay, so you saying to a woman, don't get a career, find a husband, and we already know that majority of men cannot afford to take care of a woman for her to be a stay-at-home mom.
That's right.
So my question is, do she just, you don't want her to have a degree and be educated? You rather her to work 5 McDonald's jobs, 3 or 4 McDonald's jobs, to be able just to sustain the basics in life? Or would you rather for her to get that degree, and so she could be able to have one good paying job so she could be able to sustain? Okay. So that, I hear the talking points, but I'm not sure what. And then another thing is that my thinking was, okay, you can say you don't want your woman to work and don't have a career, but are you in a position to take care of her?
Mm. Let
You
me
know,
let me
like, go
let me
ahead.
let me answer something for you. Let me tell you something. As a woman yourself, you should never ever rely on a man for your lifestyle. Okay, always have your own. Only a fool wants to stay home and raise kids and be subjected under the rulership of a man. Okay, don't ever do that to yourself, because you got nobody to blame once that man walks out that door and don't come back. Okay,
But
you
Abdul,
always have to
men are
have your
saying that's
own.
the way. But Abdul, men are saying that's the way. If you shouldn't be with someone that, if you feel they're gonna do that.
Weak-minded men say that. That's who it is. Those are the guys that want to be in charge of everything. Those are the guys that want to give the orders about everything. Those are the guys that want you to look up to them, that they above you. See, and women don't know, men are the best players of all time. And I want to advise women about something too. There's a book by Steve Harvey. I can't stand that man, but he wrote a book that's the best there is. The book is called Think
Think
Like a
like a
Man
woman and act
and
like a
Act
woman.
Like a Lady. Yes, that exposes men on every level there is. Unbelievable. All women should read that book, and they should buy it, because it'll tell you the master game plan of men. What they do, they will go to any length to control the woman.
Mm.
Women,
Okay,
women
so
need
I
that.
have another question for you. I want you to look at her name is Princilla the Queen Maker. She has a
Mhm.
book called 48 Laws of, hold on, I'm gonna look it up. 48 Laws of like ways men play games. And her ideology, her research um said that men are incapable of love. What do you think about that? But this is
That's
gonna be another
that.
show.
Well, something. I'm gonna tell you something about that. That's not 100% true. But I tell you why she probably thinks it is, because men are men are very selfish people. I should tell you that. They think of themselves above everything else. Nothing wrong with that up to a level. Okay.
Right.
You should think of yourself first, but you know, they don't sometimes, some of them, 90% of them, don't even consider other people. Okay. And that's how men really are. Because that's why men get women pregnant and then they skate out on them. They'll leave the women home with the kids and go. They do all kinds of stuff. And then you got abusive men, physically, verbally, mentally and emotionally. You got all kind of guys like that. Because I mean, me personally, when I was a kid, I came up with people like that. I watched their fathers, the mom's boyfriends, and all that kind of stuff. And I couldn't understand how the mom would put up with that kind of stuff. I never could, to this day, it still makes sense to me. But a woman should never tolerate any kind of abuse from a man, any kind of way. The first time, this is my thing. If a man loves and cares about you, he's not going to do nothing to upset that. And any physical stuff, ain't no man loving you that's abusing you. See, women think crazy. That's nuts. If, oh, I know Johnny loves me. I know he goes off the hook somehow, he smack me around a little bit, but he loves me. Yeah, that's a nut. That's a fool. And a woman like that, I have no respect for her. Women should always think that when it comes to a relationship, even though we ain't talking about that, she should think of what she needs most in a man. The loving, the sharing, the caring, the taking care of the kids and all that kind of stuff. And the financial needs too. If he doesn't have it financially, it's up to the woman if she want to deal with that man like that. And there's nothing wrong with a woman having a career, because the career will give the woman partially some of the stuff she wants. Because everybody wants stuff in life. They want to live better. They want to live in a different area, where they want a different lifestyle. So you should always seek that. And if you got a man that's holding you back, get rid of him. Get somebody else,
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing you said about men can't love women, that's not true.
Her name is Priscilla L.R. Clark, the queen, the game. It's called The Game, 41 Shades of Men.
When you get a chance, send that to me, email or text it to me.
Okay, I'll send you her information as well.
Right,
But she has some interesting points that she did. She did research. She's not just saying this. She did research. And when you hear men talk, when you hear them speak, you're like, wow, that, it's interesting. I tell you that much. It's very interesting. So, yeah, it is interesting. So, yeah.
Well, see, some men love, but most men, 90% of them love themselves more than anybody. It's nothing wrong with that either. A woman should love herself above loving somebody else. A woman should always love herself more than she loves that man she loves, and more than she loves her kids. A woman will love her kids more than she loves herself. That's her weakness right there, is the kids. Women, 90% of women are like that. They love them kids like they walk on water, and they got some of the worst kids in the world. Okay.
But I think that's a nature. I don't think
that's that's a choice. That is a natural choice.
Well, we are nurturers.
Yeah, but you're a female, and you have the choice to make. Who comes first, them or you? It should always be you. Let me ask you this. If you was out in the forest and y'all was all lost and you came across some food, would you eat all the food or would you share with them?
I would share with my kids.
Okay, that's wrong. You should eat all the food so you can have the strength to go look for more food for everybody.
That's no, but I would give them enough so I could be strong. But if I eat all the food, then I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna fall asleep.
No. You eat enough
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you eat enough to give you the strength, and then they get.
Yeah, I would save it. I would save the food. I'm not gonna eat it. We're not gonna eat it at one time. But if it's a little bit, I'll take enough so I can have enough strength, and then give them some. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not gonna just not give them nothing because I need to go find something else. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna give them some. Okay. And if I have to preserve it so they can, I will preserve it and store it in a way that it will be enough there while I go look for more without telling them that it's there. You understand? Because I know they would be hungry. They would eat it all. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
What you said, Abdul, I had that same conversation last week, verbatim, about the man, the woman, and how this is set up. But let's consider this, okay? And something that you said earlier, Angela, that we need to understand the makeup of the opposite sex. That is true. That is true. And then we come here and there's certain traits that you see for men and there are certain traits that you see in women. So then since there are no mistakes when you come here, so then if men have these attributes and women have these attributes, then when we come here, we come to find balance. That is the ultimate goal of when you come here, is to find balance. Okay, so then if men are so extreme over here and women so extreme over there, then apparently it would make sense to me. And I would say that when people are allowed to cross paths, who they are is for a reason. It's not an accident. So when you're crossing these paths, if man is so much of this and women are so much of this, then we're working towards coming towards the middle so that there is a balance. So then women, that what from even what Abdul is saying, it would make sense that you need to take on, not like I said, not selfish, but self first. So that you put yourself first before, for those very reasons. You need the strength so that you can maintain the order and your household and do the nurturing, whatever, to make sure that everyone's in balance. And he needs more to come towards the middle, that it's not all about self. It's about the balance of the family.
Sometimes in life too, you have to learn the 48 laws of power. Sometimes you have to play the game. It's a game. Life is a game as well.
Life is a game, right?
Okay.
It is true.
Let me just finish. Sometimes it might look as if it's imbalanced. It's called survival.
Survival.
Most people is not going to reach their highest potential. Most people. Okay. So one of the key things is just learning basic survival. I'm gonna give you an example. Like we talk about this all the time, Avon, reading the room. It was a young lady who went to Dubai. It was on YouTube. And she got into a car accident, allegedly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she went to go pick up,
No, I said, yes.
So she went to go pick up her car. She's in Dubai now. The man started screaming at her at the car rental place, according to her story, right? She, I guess, either listened to the man or said something else, said something to him. They said allegedly she screamed back.
Yeah, you get arrested for that.
Right. She got arrested. So why am I bringing her up? Oh, Angie, that's not fair. We women, you're in a different country. And even though you can do that in the United States,
right?
Okay,
they do that over there.
Learning basic survival. So, are you equal at that point? No. You go to Dubai. I don't give a damn what you say. You are beneath. It's no we equal. There's no women rights. It's no this. So you blend in for your survival, or if not, you perish and you die.
Right.
That's simple. And that's the same thing sometimes with relationships. Sometimes even when you are the woman and you have more or more, it's not about downplaying yourself. It's about the survival for that relationship. Or you might or you just move on. But we have to learn this in general in life. It's a saying that the customer is always right. Is the customer's always right? Not technically, but when you in sales and they teach you the customers, not sometimes, the customer is always right.
Right.
Okay. And the more agreeable, the 48 laws of power said, the more agreeable you are, the more you get done. See, sometimes we have a problem of proving each other wrong, especially with women. You trying to prove your man wrong. You trying to show up. You trying to not even that you doing it on purpose, but you wrong about this, you're wrong. And we forget sometimes the basic laws of survival. Okay. So it's like having a camouflage. So, and some people, some women disagree with that, and that's okay too. However, like Abdul was saying, if you want to deal with the 99% of men that have certain mentalities of self, they put themselves first and they look at things different, you got to know how to play that game.
Yeah.
Okay, because life is not fair. But you will do if you show up a certain type of way and you read the room properly, meaning the situation and your environment, and know where you at, you will be able to survive. You will be able not only to survive, but thrive. And that's the thing that's going on now. We're fighting back and forth, and it's strategies to this. It's strategies to this. So, Avon, I know you wanted to make a point.
No, absolutely, it is that. But see, again, but okay, I understand exactly what you're saying, and that is correct. Reading room, but then the thing is also, because you're able to, you understand how things work. So that when you understand that, doesn't that go back to understanding self psychology, how people think? When you know it for yourself, you recognize it in other people.
No,
this is how you play.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to recognize it in other people.
No.
Yourself,
Listen.
but let me explain
what
something.
happened?
Knowing yourself is one thing. Like, they have a thing that says, oh, before you go get a mate, you should know yourself. You should, basically prepare for your mate. Now, you might do all that preparing and you might get a mate and he is nothing that you prepared for. So you can't, right? So and I seen this happen with women. Okay, they got themselves together, they were celibate for years, and then they get this man that they waited for 15, 20 years, 5 years. It is like all that work they did, he's they didn't
but that has nothing to do with you. Who he is, I said.
Listen, let me explain something to you. It do have something to do with you because you in that situation. So what I'm saying is that, but let me tell you something. But what I'm saying is that life is not perfect. You're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. You're gonna get in situations. So you could know yourself, but that doesn't mean you know the other person. So that's what you call survival. You know the basics. If you know the basics, then okay, survival. It's like animals. Look at animals. Okay, a cat knows how to hunt for a mouse. Right? A dog don't like cats. Cats know how to survive the dogs. Okay? It is not like, they don't go around talking about, yo, I ain't gonna be in an environment with them. I'm just gonna go over here to my environment. No, you still cohabit with them, but you know the nature of them. And see, that's another thing that women, we have to start learning and understanding, knowing the nature of a man. Because why prostitutes and madams and women, sex workers are so good at their jobs when it comes to men and hearing men and being supportive to men, because they know the nature of them. And that's why they get what they want.
Yeah. They play the game.
They play the game. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Isn't that about what you're saying right there? That part right there. So you will know who it is. You by understanding the nature, you may not know each individual, their whole life story, whatever, but there are clues and signals that you have, and then things that you have developed within yourself, so that will help you to read a room or read a person. No, you're not going to know every single person over. There's so many people here, different person, but you will learn by discipline and constant paying attention and understanding and purposely going out and learning and understanding the nature of. Yes, you will have a better idea, so that you're not blindsided. Yes, and if you're out here to, survival, what to say, you want to even get to part of just surviving. You want to live and understand how it goes. You develop senses or whatever, and then you can pick up and read. First of all, and when you recognize and knowing in yourself, you can recognize, first of all, you don't have to know them, but all the energy that they put off is like, this is something right here. You don't need to know what it is, but you need to know there's something that's within yourself that you can read that and pick that up. Then you have to trust yourself. You build your working is always a work in progress. That you know that look, I understand this feeling and what I know this much. I said, I don't need to know what it is that you ain't right or good about, but I know that something ain't right here. And so that I'm going to move.
Well, that's when life.
Let me finish. So then I'm not even going to deal with your behind because I got that. I did that study. I'm doing that work, but that's going to come from self and observing and learning. Yes, all that I got that. It's not in a vacuum by yourself, but you will. It's not that you don't have no clue. Don't tell me that one. I'm not gonna go. I'm not buying that one. You have no clue.
But listen, sometimes what women say that's not for them, or they figure, like I hear a lot what women say. Oh, if he's not like that, just leave, right? And you go to the next man and he just not like that, and then you leave again, and then now you got a big body count, right? So the thing is that women should learn how to handle conflict resolution. A lot of people don't know conflict resolution. So just because you and your man got into disagreement, that don't mean it's the end of the world. That don't mean that it's time to break out or leave.
No, we didn't say that. That's how we said. Now we're putting things together.
I'm just saying because that is the a lot of time that is like the growing concept of, oh, if he don't do this or he say this to me, then you should leave. Oh, girl, you should leave. He might get in an argument with you, and it might be name calling because you called him names, and then you telling half of the story, and then the person don't know you telling half of the story, and then they like, oh, giving you advice and saying leave or whatever. So, and that's even with your boss. You can have because relationships is just not intimate relationship. It's relationships with your parents, your family, your friends, your colleagues. So we have to, one of the things is learning conflict resolution and learning survival skills amongst each other to get what you want. That's the whole, everybody want what they want. So when you're going into a relationship, you're saying, okay, how do I get what I want? Basic psychology. So what do people want? They want to feel loved. They want to feel appreciated. They want to feel needed, right? Those are some of the psychological reasons what people want, humans want and need. And you learn that totally in sales, right? Sales teach you that. To make your customers happy. It's called customer relation, customer building, customer service building. Okay, they even they talk about that in sales all the time. CRM, customer relationship management, on how to build relationships. And it's the same, and that's with any relationship, your man, your family, your children. How are you building relationships outside of intimacy? And that's sometimes what women we miss, and men too, but we missing just that building hi, good morning, how are you? Telling your neighbor, knocking on your neighbor door and asking them, are they okay? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, people remember that, just basic stuff that we moved away from. So it's all of that is a combination of things. So back to that again, we can work on ourselves, and you should work on yourself. You absolutely should work on yourself. You can do all that work, but you still have to interact with people.
Oh, I never said that you don't. Never said that you didn't.
No, I don't know you didn't. I don't get it.
Now, can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
I'm not the arguing type person, because when I see people upset, unfortunately, it's comical to me. It really is. I can't help it. I was from dealing with my parents hollering at me every day, screaming and hollering. I'd be wondering, why are they wasting so much time with this? When it's not going anywhere. No matter what they say, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do something else. And I always start laughing. When women get mad at me, they always got mad at me because they said I wasn't listening because I'm laughing at them. I'm laughing at them because they mad. I mean, can't you talk or discuss things without a tone to it, without being mad? You know, if I did something or said something wrong, there's a way to address that. You know, just do it logical. You don't have to holler and scream and curse and all this kind of stuff, because I'm not coming back at you like that. I'm not coming back at you at all. I'm just going to stand there and laugh about the whole, because I think it's funny. I mean, when I see people upset, two couples upset with each other, I can't help it. You know, if I'm around them, I start laughing because it's comical to see them going back and forth. And then they ask me, which one of us do you think is right? And I said, well, I said, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. One of y'all gotta be right. You know, I'll say something stupid, you know, to make them laugh, you know, to get this conversation over with what they was arguing about. Most of the time they forget what they was arguing about anyway, you know.
Right.
But I don't think a woman should spend time arguing with a man at all, because that's a waste. That's a wasteful effort. You know, there's a way to discuss things. There's a problem or something came up. There's a way to discuss that without arguing, because arguments don't settle anything. Then you got to stop each other. Then you got to make up and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I always thought that was dumb too. You know, if somebody's mad, why make up? I mean, you was mad about it, so why you going to make up now? You said the wrong thing. You said something to him you shouldn't have said. Oh, too bad. He couldn't handle that. Oh, that's too bad. You know what I mean? Don't take it back.
The argument comes about because there's a breakdown in communication. There was an effective communication. That's why arguments occur. And that's what Angela was saying. So maybe that's a part of the conflict resolution. You have to learn how to, your communication was ineffective. So you have to figure out a way to get your point across, and not by tearing down somebody else's thoughts and whatever, and, you know, dismissing it to get your point across, but to have active listening and response, and, you know, sticking to the subject at hand. You know, what we have to do also, you got to learn nature, and then guess what? And when we come here, we have to learn how to subjugate certain aspects of our nature. Yes, yeah, this is how we were born, but you come in here how to learn to make that you become the master of your emotions and how you react and do things. See, that's what you're talking about with the argument, whatever. When you are out of control and you don't know how, you have to master that. You have to master yourself, and you will learn that through interaction with other people, through your different relationships. And as you're doing that, when you're doing that, you're also doing that work, paying attention to. Okay, well, how am I measuring up? This is for yourself. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Am I getting the results that I want? Am I showing up the way that I want to show up? How do I feel about this? What is this looking like? This is all going right back to what we were speaking about in the beginning. Yes, you know nature, men have this nature, but you are here to bring that nature under control so that it serves you appropriately. So yeah, men come here, yeah, they dominate, conquer, whatever. Yes, there is a time and a place for everything. But when is the time? You're not trying to conquer your daggone children, so then you have to tap into that nurturing part or bring it. They're learning.
Well, who is it? Yes, they do try to conquer their children.
Let me finish. Oh. So the things that we were talking about when we were talking about the order of things, and Abdal mentioned, well, you know what, it's men and women first, and then the children should be last, what have you. The thing is, you know what, it sounds harsh when you say this. Like, what do you mean, put the children last? And I tell you, I've heard the very same conversation, word for word, how men think. So then I see, yes, there is a similarity in the way that they think. I hear it across the board. So I do hear that. It's that when you come here, it is you bring it under control and know when the time is for what. And then, yes, man and woman, when you come together, yeah, that should be a strong relationship. You cleave when you leave your mother's household, you cleave unto your mate, yes. And then you work together as a team. Guess what? As you're doing that, you're teaching your children what it looks like, how how these things work. That's one way of doing it. See, when things are out of sync in order, that is one way. People learn by what they see as well, just as much, if not more, than you telling them what it is to do. And what do we talk about now? A lot of times we tell people, oh, you should do this. But then what's the question they ask you back? How does that look? So we have to find a balance of how to do that. So, man, yeah, you're out here conquering whatever, but like I said, when you're at home, you're not trying to conquer your children, whatever. And then women, I've heard the situation of, and then women and men say, oh, now they're thinking, oh no, don't want to deal with women that have children. Why? Because women will say when it comes time, when you come together, the child knows that you're not their parent, and if the mother is not on the same page with you, and when it comes to discipline the child, if the woman is saying, oh, you don't discipline my child, you can't do this, it will cause a conflict. So you have to be on the same page, and you have to have good communication and understand what it is that you're going to do, and you have to be on the same page. And the thing is, what we don't understand when we're talking about this relationship with men, first of all, of course, you will not submit if you don't trust somebody. That's the thing. If you know that they cannot handle this, A, B, and C, and whatever, so of course you're not going to be submissive, whatever. So the thing is, so whose fault is that? That is on you, the women. That's why you got to take control. It's not, you don't just give it up. You are in control of your life. Abdul says, yes, that is correct.
But I think
go ahead.
Something you said about the children, I think sometimes you do need to conquer your children. It depends on your children. Yeah. Some children need to be conquered. I'm in agreement of some children need to be conquered. I'm gonna say that again. Some children need to be conquered.
Yeah. Because can I say something? Can I say something?
And conquered mean one of the definitions of conquer is to overcome a problem or weakness. A lot of children are problems, and not that they mean to be. That's just they growing up. The way they are. That's part of life. And some of them learn without force. Some of them learn without being conquered. They learn. They learn to cohabitate with you and listen, and they trust your parenting. Then you have children like Abdul that was growing up, and he said how he did not listen to his parents until they threatened to take him away, to send him away.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, some kids you do need to conquer. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. I will say this. Yeah, there's many scenarios, but then there you'll find a common denominator that's going on there. There are some children that will look. All children will challenge you, in some more subtly than others, some more boisterous in what it is that they're doing. They will challenge. That's a natural thing. I want to see what I can get away with and what I can get. We do it as adults, so guess what? We were children before. So where we are now, that's where they are as well. So they're going to challenge. So then the thing is, if you know this, then you need to be prepared for that. And there's certain things that you know that does not work. Some children, you don't give them a wide berth into, let them just do whatever and see what it comes to, and then try to rein it. Wait, let me finish. And then try to rein them in later. Sometimes you just got to start out first and little by little see what they can handle and then go from there. So sometimes we let the horse out of the barn and then they go buck wild and run off, become wild. And then when you try to bring them back in, it's difficult. Right. So this thing, you got to ease into it. You just can't, that's reading the room too. That's another example of reading the room. You got to know who it is that you're dealing with. By how you know this? By observing and watching. See, these are common. These are things in nature. You want to know the answer? You're observing in nature. You have to observe what is around you and before you, and understand it with a purpose and intentional to get an understanding of what it is that you're dealing with. That's reading a room. That's reading people and personalities. That's why it's hard to say, "Oh well, I had no signs, and I did." You did. You may not realize it up front, or you didn't think that this would cause this to happen, but you had an idea. You knew there was some sign or something that was going on. So we got to stop saying that, because what that says is just sit up here and talk about you're a damn going victim. You're not a damn victim. Look. But if you want to be, you absolutely. If that's what you believe it is, you're absolutely correct. You're a victim, and guess what? You will suffer the consequences of being a victim. This is what you choose. You have a choice. This is what we got to get back to and remember. You have a choice. Things happen, shit happens in the beginning, pardon the French there. But the thing is, okay, take a breath, stand still, and survey the room, the circumstances. What just happened? What is going on here? All right, this, I don't think that was a good move or what happened there. Okay, so what can I do to change that around to get the effect that I want to? These are choices. These are conscious choices that you have to make. The thing is, if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? And then if
Most
you're
people,
not going to do it,
most people
nobody
don't get
else.
their way. Do you know most people don't get their way? You know that, right? Most people don't know how to get their way. Most
Well,
people
this
don't
is
know
what they
how.
gotta learn.
No, I'm
You
just
gotta-
saying to you, it sounds good. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that they can't learn. I understand why it's a breakdown in communication, because most people don't know how to use communication effectively to get what they want. That's why you see even adults having tantrums and breakdowns, and because they don't know how to communicate what it is that they want. They don't know how to sell what it is that they want to get people to be in agreement with them, or to get people to think about it, or put things, out there so people can even consider it. So that's what, a lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of
This is
people
true.
don't.
This is true. So that's why those that do have to share with those that don't. And like I said, look, ways to do that one-on-one. That is one of the biggest effective ways, one-on-one, and it goes out for that. It spreads out exponentially, and you build that way and get the message out. You have platforms, and you speak it out, and you can get a hold of more people to get that. The thing is, you can't hold it in. You got to get it out. Don't worry about how you're not everybody's going to be TD Jakes, or you might even be better. The thing is, get it out. Share it with somebody. It starts in the home. It starts with self first, and then it starts in the home. You got children, things that you learn, you share it with them. You got friends and families. When you're having these conversations, you have these discussions. You notice something, what to say. You see something, say something. This is how it happens. It's no secret recipe or formula or what to do. You gotta do it. Like I say, just do it. Just do it. Open your mouth, say something. You see right in front of you, you can share the word. Guess what? That person goes out. You know your own children. They go out, they have conversations, they speak to their friends. And then in school, they have conversations, whatever, and they share. It gets out that way. Say something. Say something. Get it started. Get started. You can't wait for the perfect moment. We've learned that. Wait for the perfect time to do it, the perfect time to speak. You never get started. Nothing will ever happen. So just get out there and start speaking. So right now we're almost at the 2-hour mark already. So we're going to start wrapping it up. So we're going to start. Abdal, do you have anything else that you want to share with us? Or
Yeah, I just want to say. I wanted to say one more thing. When it comes to kids, mostly the moms on the mom side, they only think they know their kids. See, mothers think of their children as they want to think of them children. They want to believe their children are certain ways, and they don't really know that child, because you only know that child from your household. Once that child leaves out that door, you don't know that child no more. You only know them when they come back. Always remember this. A kid will only let you know what he wants you to know, and that's it. That's where they draw the line at. So parents always think they know their children. They don't. They don't. They only think that, especially with the moms. the kids will play the moms to the T, Jack. They know they can't do that with the dads, but so they play the moms all the time. That's all I
That's
wanted to say.
I learned that when I worked in the schools, Abdul, and I had my sons go to school or whatever, and I got to see them in action and hear certain things. You're absolutely right. What you have going on in your house when folks are free and get out,
Yeah.
they move and react differently. Guess what? Again, they're going to try and see what they can and cannot get away with. They're going to try
Yeah.
you. So, so I learned that a long time ago, and I said, and I never forgot it. So I don't say, oh, what my kid won't do or what this one won't do. Look, I can only speak for myself. And then there have been times where I didn't know what I was going to do or surprise myself and act out there. So I know for darn sure I cannot speak for someone else, but I can have an idea. And then I would put myself in a position so that people feel comfortable that they can come to me and talk. But that takes time, and you have to build those type of relationships. Because please, there are times I don't know it all. I'm still in the process of learning. And I know for a fact I have got on my kids' nerves or whatever, or certain things, and I hear back now, oh, how are you going to tell us this isn't that what you told us? And you're not even doing it yourself. So, and I would tell them, how dare you use what I said against me? But we laugh at it, but it's true. But the good thing is that I know that they listen, that they heard me, and that they can repeat it back to me or tell me about it and know how to apply it. So I feel successful in that, so that I know that they listen. So I do feel good about that. But like I said, no, I don't know it all, don't profess to, and I will sit back and tell you for a fact, I learned from my kids, grandkids, I learned from everybody. So, and I am open to that. So I am an eternal learner. So I wanted to say that. So I understand what you're saying there. Angela, what would you like to say?
Just no, just wrapping it up, and just for those who are listening, just to for women who are feeling out of order in terms of their life, their goals, their vision, is to get actively involved in their own life and seek the support and networks to get them back on track if they, fell off track.
Very good. And Angela, you want to let the folks know how they can find us or how they can follow us?
No, you can let them know.
This time y'all had a different link. When I logged on to the previous link, that didn't work. So Angie sent me the other link. I mean, you gonna change links all the time, or how's it gonna
Right,
go?
StreamYard is a new link every time. Like
Oh,
the what's the other one that we use? People use all the time. That's for offices and stuff.
TikTok.
No. What's the thing? It's like this. It's similar to this, but businesses use it, and we use it over time.
Google link, not Google link.
No, you know what it is. It's a simple thing, and everybody has it. I just can't think of the name of it. But that
Yeah, the
one,
Google link, right?
no,
Google
it has nothing to do with Google. It's like the Office thing. I can't remember what it is off time, but it's very simple. What the
Uh,
name is, but the thing is that
I
will
know
give you the same link.
the name, right? I know what you're
okay.
talking about. I see it right
You know
there.
exactly what I'm talking about, but I have a
Um,
brain freeze right now. I don't remember it, but that would give you the same link. But StreamYard is a different link um, every time. So
Well,
the
how,
thing is,
yeah, but where do you get it from, though? I don't. That's what I don't get.
well, what we do is ahead of time, what can be done is we drop a link in the chat or individuals, who is coming into the chat. Folks can watch us, catch us on YouTube, watch us live on YouTube, but they don't have the connection. But through what is this thing? The stream, the live stream here that we got going on, we could StreamYard. This is we have to drop a link. So, but in order to keep up to find out what's going on or when we're going to be on air, check out the IG at Conversation with ANA, Twitter, Conversation at ANA, with ANA, excuse me, and on the Facebook, Conversation with
I'll
ANA.
just send it to you. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
yeah, that's cool.
No,
Yeah,
no,
just send me the
doing,
text.
we know Abdul. We're
Yeah,
trying
because
to
you
do
see, I
family,
got.
but for other people that are listening also.
I know,
that
yeah. I
we
mean, that's
will-
cool for other people, but I mean, for me, because see, I got a flip phone, and I don't have that kind of stuff y'all got because, you know, I know the science behind that. That's the reason why I don't use those kind of phones. I use a flip phone, so if you can send me the text, it's just fine. That's how I got it tonight. Angie sent it to me.
Right. So
You know?
that's how we will do that. So that's how everyone that you can follow us on that. You and spread the word. Let other people know that we're out here. And I want to leave you with this quote before we go: is when you do the work, you create more options for yourself. More options creates a greater sense of empowerment. So we want to thank you all again for joining us tonight. Our topic was Women, Are We Out of Order? And we will continue the conversation. So look for us, follow us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Good night, Abdul. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I want to thank my co host, Angie, for doing a great job. We had a good time tonight. And we will see you all again soon. Good
All
night.
right. Good night. Good night.
Goodbye to you, young ladies.
Okay. Good night, Abdul.
All
Good
right,
night.
later.